but it's not. It's just the wall behind you. Jahan, what kind of practice? When you look at that house or going there, other than, is there anything there for you? Is there a practice there for you? I know there's a ton of practice for them interacting with you, but why, why throw the pearls before the swine?
Because I get to test out my coaching chops. And I get something in return for it, and that sweetens the deal. It's like a win-win situation.
So you're actually going to say coaching and not dancing?
They are all dances, yeah.
Do you have a framework?
All coaching is dancing. It's like this.
Do you have a framework? Do you have a do you have a coaching style?
I think I'm figuring that out right now. I think that's
Well,
what
no,
that
no.
so
I think I'm building it. It's not stamped on your DNA someplace. This is something that you create.
It is coming together, yeah. It's being created now, and the house is like a test bunny.
Test
The
bunny.
way I think of things. And then I just get to go in and try them out.
Okay. My only concern is take rigorous notes. Be very scientific about it if you have the time. Like with
I tend to move that way
mm-hmm.
as much in this because I feel like a lot of it is felt sense.
It's always going to be felt sense. That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
You can still make intellectual sense of it. If you're trying to set up a school or a teaching, you have to have some A to B to C to D.
Yeah.
You have to have some sort of meta container.
The framework.
So with Josh, look at light weights, medium weights, and heavy weights. You're going to come in there. He's a client. Now, I don't think you do calculus or you don't teach rototilling or anything like that. You have your specialty with Josh. Now you want to figure out what the light weights are about, what the medium weights are about, and what the heavy weights are about. Light weights are things that he can do. Heavy weights, things he can't do yet. Medium, we're trying to transition from this one to this one. And he's going to tell you what he thinks it's all about. And you're going to be like all the coaches all over the world who really know what they're doing, and they're going to nod their head. Oh, yeah, really? That's what you want to do? And in your own head, yeah, I understand that's where you think you want to go, and we're going to go this way. Good luck, Josh.
Thank you, Craig. Very interested in both the dynamics with Sophia, but also with more housemates, where I want to encourage more things like having Jahan out here, but everyone else kind of just seems like they're kind of comfy and fine with whatever they're doing.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay.
Why should we bring a nuclear reactor on board when we're just puttering along fine? We don't need any more wattage.
Yeah, so everyone just seems like kind of lukewarm for the things I'm like, yo.
Yep. And to me, that's where you stick a fire under Jahan's ass.
Well, Jahan's up, right? Hey.
No, it's Jahan. Jahan is the product. She's got to figure out what it is that she has that is so amazing, such coin, that people are going to jump to get her there. It's not to figure out how the people there do it. They're the audience, they're the customers. You got to sit down with Jahan and say, okay, how do we package you? How do we market you? How do we have you show up?
I did that yesterday. It was great. I got something for myself and a couple people in the house, but we don't have like key threshold Oh boy. You're saying something, but it's audio is not coming out to me. Your audio is
You
gone.
sound fine to me.
Oh, okay, now suddenly I can hear you. I'm checking out what's
Yeah.
going on. Monitor. It's definitely my computer's going pretty slow. I don't know what's going on.
Have you been there before, Jahan?
Yeah, I was there 2 months ago.
Okay, so you have an idea about the types of people. Now you look at your map of what Jahan is about, and you see how these people fit in there. Some of them are going to fit here, some of them are going to fit here, you know, and you're going to say, okay, to get these people on board with my particular specialty, and to have it be powerful enough to where they're willing to give me $1,000 a week, this is what I have to do. And there's no guarantees, but this is about you crafting the thing that is you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I think we have the threshold buy-in and we have people who are interested, or like several people who are interested, but we need like more, I guess like majority of the house, and are other people who would be like in rooms also voting here in most ways because we don't have enough rooms right now.
Well, it seems like the underlying problem is not buy-in, it's that there's just not enough rooms and Jahan wants to be in a room.
Well, if we have one or two people who either are in a room who want to have Jahan here more than they want to be in that room that time window, or they could like want that for the house so that they would leave during that time window. Or like we're having the optionality for someone who was going to leave but then is sticking around because of like some medical things, and like, okay, well, I also want to do reps too with people who are doing.
So there's two solutions here. One is you either try to convince Jahan to stay in a shift pod, or two, somebody with a room, you
Right.
try to convince them to give it up
Right,
for a period of time.
That's what I'm saying. And right now I'm saying that it doesn't occur. There's a lot of external buy-in. I would either shop her to them in that way, or just share some vision that I have. And I need support around that for that to be workable, is my sense.
Well,
I mean-
obviously, Jahan
Support
is not.
from who?
Alton, if you would let Jahan sink her fangs into your neck, you would be a walking advertisement for that. You have to be willing to let, you as head of the house, you have to be willing to let Jahan go up to like maybe 90% with you.
For this window, for this particular dynamic, this is not the orientation.
All right. Then figure out, you have a bunch of people, you have some people there who are not inputting into the organism the way you want them to. You think that Jahan will put more into the organism, find a way to get them gone.
I mean, I pretty transparently share my explicit values around this.
Right?
And I think that they just have lower appetites or lower values around this.
They do.
Okay, I think maybe I'm just like accepting the.
Do you want the really hard part, Alton?
Do I want a really hard part?
Yeah, do you want hardball?
I mean, I'm still coming to terms with it. Sure. I mean, okay.
Give her your room. Wow. Did you see Jahan? Did you see that? Jahan, how often has somebody done something to that level because they appreciate you and what you're about?
The suggestion is turn over this room, have Sophia and myself in the ship pod, or just complete time with Sophia.
I don't care.
That happened.
Jahan,
Yeah, that happened last time I was at the house.
What is it?
how does that feel?
It wasn't Alton. It was a couple other people.
Yeah, that right there.
It feels good. Yeah, I feel
Yeah.
valued.
Well, yeah, Lamborghini feels valued
But
too.
um, Alton used this phrase yesterday when we were on a call. He was like, "Okay, I get what the price. I get what the price of admission is for Jahan for this certain thing." And I was like, that is exactly what it is. There's like a certain level to which I gravitate towards people who treat me in a certain way.
Jahan,
And
may I?
I'm usually not in spaces where I don't feel that level of
Jahan, may
value.
I?
Yeah.
I
Yes.
like people who make sacrifices of a high enough quality to be with me.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, so don't play with it Josh style. Play with it Jahan style.
Hmm.
Down deep. That you like it when people make sacrifices to dance the big dances with you.
Yeah, that's true. Hmm. I'm
That's
realizing how
gorgeous.
many places that's applicable in my life. It's pretty pervasive.
Yep. There is a psychopathological part of it.
Yeah, I had it happen this week too,
Yep.
like just a few days ago.
Firstborn male child.
That's the syndrome?
No, that's the sacrifice.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess.
Abraham.
Yeah. Hmm. It works. It works for me.
Yep. It works for them too. If they don't have skin in the game, the more real skin, more things that are their skin that they have to sacrifice, the more they're going to be invested in it. If it's a no, if it's like, oh sure, come and stay, I'll buy, they're not invested in it.
Yeah. Yeah, I've seen that to be true for sure. Yeah. I think there's a part of me that likes,
You think?
I know there's a big part of me that wants people to pay for my presence in any
So
sort of the matter. Like there's like
so on a piece of paper, how people pay start from the straight up money all the way to sacrificing their children. I think you'll be really interested in seeing how your body responds to each of those points on that scale, not how your mind interacts with it.
mm, or I think it's that, and how can somebody prove their value to me that shows me that they're worth my time at all? And sometimes it's not always sacrifice.
What else could it be?
Like how it depends on the person. I think there's so many different variables.
Dancing with you is dancing in the fire. I don't care what they're dancing about. It's gonna be fiery. If they want it to be hot, they're gonna have to put something in the fire. There has to be some fuel there.
Mm-hmm.
They
Otherwise,
have to
they get
bring,
burnt out. That's what I've noticed.
well, yeah, or they come in and they're all titillated and nothing's actually burning. They have to put something on the flame, on the altar.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Hmm.
I look forward to the time where their instructions are build an altar to me and tell me what you're putting on it.
Mm. We just keep
It's yoking.
raising the
You got a
price
problem with that?
condition, Gray.
You got a problem with
No,
that?
I don't. I don't.
Right, how do you know when to like be like, okay, well now there's no players, so the standard is too high, versus where like you'll get some receptivity to this dance.
So I'm in charge of house, wherever it is your thing. And Jahan comes in and I'm like, oh shit. And I look around at the little tiny twigs of people that are there. And I'm saying if she cuts loose, they're all going to be burnt to ash in 15 minutes. So I'm going to pull Jahan aside and I'm going to say, Jahan, I don't think any of these people can take but one of your 12 cylinders. I could be wrong. So we got to figure out how we're going to get them acquainted with the taste of you in like 10%. We're going to start off with jalapenos, and eventually we're going to end up with Carolina Reapers. Okay? But if you feed them Carolina Reapers right away, they're going to be really enthused about the idea, and then their head's going to explode. So you have to find some way to titrate this stuff. That's like me. I mean, you say, hey, I know this Carolina Reaper called Cray, and why don't you come into a Zoom call and take a big old bite? And most of them, they go, poof, and they run away. That's fine. How do we titrate? First, you got to identify what it is that Jahan's bringing to the table. And you have to work with her about that.
Yeah, I think we did. We kind of had a solid paragraph. It feels really good. And
yes, we're going to Mars, and we worked yesterday, and we have a solid paragraph about how we're getting to Mars. Oh, okay.
I don't know if we're going to Mars today. Okay.
So, Alton, you have about 2.5 years, and then AI is going to take over.
Yeah.
And all of these bubble-headed adolescents, male or female, are all going to get sucked into the black hole of AI. Okay, because AI will be 80% of what they need, and that's probably 40% more than what they're already getting. Okay. And so all of this pleasant little stuff that you're doing now, all this like stepping lightly and bruised egos and all, if you don't get a SEAL team up, if you don't get a SEAL team culture up and running in 2.5 years, maybe less, to where people are enthusiastic about actually dancing with Jahan or Jochen or anybody, if you can't give them an experience of why this is better than talking to their best friend on their phone, all right, you're going to lose.
Yeah, I mean, by default, they have plenty of narcissistic supplies that will just tell them what they want to hear already, and or just continue to fragment their attention like TikTok or YouTube. And
Gee, sort of like you're trying to sell these people on why Jahan should be here.
wait, I don't get it.
You're trying to give them what they want to hear such that Jahan shows up. That's what an AI is going to be doing. It's going to try to find the answer.
Okay.
These AIs are going to be the world's best coach. Why anybody's going to pay attention to them, I don't know.
Got it. So you're saying that it's kind of like just focus on. I'm hearing basically the only difference we're going to make is in putting all our chips in AI, and maybe in the meantime we have a nice 2.5 years of
You could do that.
sunset. I mean, that's pretty reasonable. Yeah. I mean, I enjoy this 2.5 years. Has me want to like take out loans against future Alton. That's not going to be like won't really matter to pay him back anyways because they
Yeah.
go back. So I get to enjoy more.
Alton,
Yeah.
I highly encourage you to get your nose into the sweaty places of Jahan and inhale and get a sensation of what that is. You don't have the taste buds for it. You don't have the nuances for it. But if you can get a sense of the sweat of her, taking notes, John?
What was that question?
Are you taking notes?
Yeah. But
It's not the
makes
technique.
sense. Yeah.
It's about educating them, their palates, about the sweat of you.
I think I'm afraid that there's a certain version that you evoke with all of us now that's much more salient and alive and juicy that makes a lot of this like really yummy, and it's great for us here. But again, it just doesn't carry over yet to other people, and we're not yet walking workshops or would you say like poster childs or like models.
Well, gee, I wonder how you could become poster childs. I wonder what you guys would have to do in a weekend or a 5-day retreat to make yourselves into walking advertisements. Imagine that you're up in some big cabin up in the mountains someplace, and Jahan is like, okay, Jahan, you got 10 people here who are not going to avocado. Okay, and you get to bring it up to a 9. And then Josh gets to bring it up to a 9. Jochen, maybe 4 degrees Celsius. I don't know.
It's very generous of you.
And Jahan's the closest thing I've seen to a fire starter in any of you. And so she's gonna have to figure out what's the pattern that's keeping me so goddamn small? What is my psychology telling me is so freaking dangerous about being hotter or more intense or bigger or more challenging? Imagine being in final say with her, Alton. I would say, go away, go do final say for an hour. And you come back and you report on it. And I would say, really? Seriously? Jahan, really? That is what you consider to be high intensity? We'd probably draw some stupid figures on a post-it board. And she would go back in. If Josh is feeling good and he's being effective, he's smack dab in the middle of his box.
And is the goal, is it bad for me to be effective? Or are you saying that it's not going to give me anything new?
I mean, look around at the people you're successful with. Are these the people you want to be the on your team? Are these the people you want to have children with? These the people you want to blend DNA with? Spiritually, of course.
There's definitely people I feel like amazing spiritual connection with and alignment with, but you're pointing. Are you trying to tell me to aim for a different friend circle?
I'm telling you to ask Jahan how you can more fully occupy the chakras that you're not occupying.
Jahan, how can I more fully?
Not now.
All right, go follow up.
We've talked about this, Josh, actually.
We have.
We have.
So Jahan, that he doesn't remember is because you weren't hot enough. He should come out of that discussion just crucified, eviscerated. He should be looking.
I felt like he was already burning enough that any more would have been just too much.
Nope. You give them the right to call their own avocado, and until then, you just keep heaping the fuel on them. They get to ring the bell. Navy SEALs. Nobody's going to ring the bell for you, except Alton. Alton will ring the bell for you every goddamn day.
Not anymore.
That's true. The bell. I haven't seen Alton's bell in a little bit. Proud of you, Alton.
Oh yeah. No, Olaf. Yeah, they're just sitting there doing nothing, waiting for the AI apocalypse.
No, I'm really intrigued by the question, Cray. So why do I, for instance, in moments where I could get much more high energy, why don't I do it? Part of it is my body has a preference, just as my body has a preference not to go to the gym. It's like laziness is always a little more comfortable.
So your body has its own intelligence, ungoverned by your brain, and your value system was somehow in your DNA.
No, I call it a story, but I sense I have a temperament that prefers my body to be like on a lower level than like, upset is just like, I get very quickly out of upset normally. And it takes me a while to get there.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that it wouldn't be good for me, right? Just like going to the gym is good. So,
So
why don't
Jochen,
I do it?
look at Josh, and then look at Jahan. Yeah. Okay. So, gee, do you seem to be attracted to the cool intellectual types? Doesn't look like it. How well do you think a cool intellectual type is going to dance with something like Jahan? Not very well.
It would be like an interesting an interesting experience to see, but
Right. And that's
um,
and that's why you're like, Jahan, I'll meet you in Palo Alto in 2 weeks. I got a very comfortable hotel room. We'll lock the door. We'll order room service. I'll pay you $1,000, and you're going to do whatever you think is necessary for me to move to my next level. And she's going to say, "Well, what are your boundaries?" And you say, "The only boundary I have is avocado." And she will smile at that. And she'll say, "Okay, avocado, I will give you, if anything that we're doing, you say avocado, I am going to break from you for an hour. And then I'm going to try to come back in. So whenever you say avocado about anything that we're doing, I'm going to go into this room over here. I'm going to shut the door, and you're going to stay out here, and we're not going to communicate. And then I'm going to come out in an hour, and I'm going to say, do you want to re-engage? And you're going to say yes or no. If you say no, I'm going back in. I'm going to shut my door." You could do the same exercise with Alton or Josh. I don't think you'd have as much fun, but your public face is the thing that you learn to present to get the strokes from your caregivers. And you put away a lot of stuff that is usually 180 degrees from your public face. If you want to know what your public face is, ask 10 people for your 10 best characteristics and your 10 worst characteristics.
one question I have about the scenario with the hotel room, is it like, and I assume I'm permitted to go to avocado as well. I mean, the Jahan's avocado.
I don't think Jahan would avocado you. I don't think there's anything you can do.
That
But
would be
but she also has her own avocado.
okay, great. Because I think I would take it in a gym analogy would for me be, yeah, I take it in a very sportsy kind of way.
Yep.
Yeah.
And your object is to get both of you up to the edges of your norms and hopefully past them in terms of hardness, softness, openness, closeness, heat, cold, whatever it is. It doesn't matter.
I just wanted to get really clear on, is there any progress you think we can make on this call over the next like 40-ish minutes for me being a stand for Jahan coming out here, other than Josh and myself consulting with her independently and then taking on some work such that we become living examples of that work that then enrolls other people because of our embodiment of that work?
You can't, I don't think that with the people there that you can point to a pixelated version of her and say, that's yummy, we should invite that. We should spend some coin to get that amongst us. I think that you're going to have to come up with, what is she going to do? How is she going to do it? What are we going to do with her? You're going to have to put something that their frontal lobes can get hold of. Right. I would, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I mean, that's a good start. I think we'll start there on that. I also have a personal inquiry, just to wrap some of my personal threads, which was like, to what extent do I just it seems like there's like a giving up energy or like writing Sophia off for not being receptive in a certain way.
There are times when, for me, I am more interested in the people that buy in than the people who get seduced in. I'm not interested. And if she came to me and said, I want to join your team, Cray, and I will put a bunch of test questions. And if she says that there is what was the thing she used? A transpersonal evil? Something like that.
Inherently evil?
Yeah,
Inherently evil. I'm like, okay, nope, not on the team.
got it. Because that's like a signifier for you that they're like, they have some white hot chain and they're unwilling to examine it. I mean, well, in this case, in this particular
I
container.
don't know. It's like if they came in and said, I want to be on your team, but there are no blacks or Indians or Hispanics. I'm like, you're not on the team.
I see.
It's a reflection. I don't know about the meaning making of it, Alton. All I know is that that is a very hard monocultural thing. And if she's pointing at the thing that is inherently evil and we're not buying into it, there's going to be a trauma response to us not buying into it.
Yeah.
Psychologically, she's saying, this is my pain.
Right.
This is my pain that you're not acknowledging. And her kid really wants you to say, oh my goodness, I'm so sorry that I hurt you, or I shouldn't do that. And she wants the kid wants to see the behavioral change. The kid wants to be thought of as important enough as whatever it is that has you doing the thing that hurts her.
Yeah, as for me, it's still like, I want to be the type of person that can create the conditions of clearing such that she self-recognizes this or then wants to buy
Nope.
in. And
There's a certain point where you have to take your inner children, love them, and give them a quick little snuggle and walk them to the edge of a really tall cliff and drop them off.
and you're saying that in this case, she's being like, by me tolerating this behavior, or
She has in my craziness, she has a part that says you're doing something very, very wrong and you have to stop.
right?
Right?
And I'm
To
just
me,
like, condition
as
and
an
super triggered. I'm like, well, I don't know how we
Yeah.
can have connection or have any sort of moving forward then.
and you could, if you were in her monoculture, you'd be like, oh, you don't ever want me looking at another woman anymore. Okay, fine. And you'll try your damnedest and your eyes will wander. You know?
Well, no, I'm just straight with it. I'm like, I just have, I mean, for me, this, yeah, it's just gonna, all right, okay. So, yeah, it does seem like the alternative is deception, and I'm just like, I don't, that doesn't work. I don't know how that's possible. So,
And not everybody gets to go. You get to experience drawing a line in the sand all the time. For whatever reasons that you're like, no. And for you to say that to a powerful feminine that you're attracted to is a really good exercise. I do it in Hang all the time. People start doing the social thing. I'm like, I'm out of here. You know, if you want to come and ask me a philosophical question or a coaching question, I'll be in my room. Come find me. I'm not here to do the social thing. But I want you to do the social thing. I don't care what you want. I want to tell you my stories. I don't want to listen to your stories. But I want you to know why I am the way I am. And I'm like, you want me to listen to a story that you're making up about why you think you are the way you are. Why do I want to know that? Yokin has his body doesn't want to go to the gym. No, we're not going today. Excuse me? Last I remember, you're in charge of your voluntary muscles.
okay. I also see how I can say things like my brain XYZ or.
Yep. I want to be a clearing for it. Someone's just grating on me as your frickin' nails. I want to be a clearing for it. I was like, what do you actually mean by that? Don't hurt yourself. It's one of your social lubricants. Means
Yeah.
basically nothing. I'm safe.
I mean, that is the crux of what has a lot of people seem to fall in love with me is their felt sense of safety around me. And then,
Oh, their inner children feel safe around me. Yay!
oh, and then on that background of safety, then you can like explore more dangerous or like adventurous aspects.
You can. I just be careful about what kind of safety kids you're inviting in.
Safety kits, you said?
There are different flavors of safety: physical, mental, emotional, spiritual.
Yeah. Is there any off ramp you'd say for like versus drawing a line in the sand about what seems like more arbitrary black and white thinking? Well, both with Sophia, but also just with energetically with other people in the home that I'm like, they just seem like less into the same things, and I'm like,
Of course they do.
yeah, well, how do you?
Have you ever been to a SEAL camp? Have you ever been to an elite place of any kind and see how they act versus the rabble? Of course, you're going to be interested in different people,
Right.
different
so,
things.
Because it's more explicit. It's
You're running kindergarten, Alton. Get used to it.
you're just saying there's no hope. You're always in kindergarten.
There's not. It's just being aware of what is. You're not driving a Ferrari. You're driving a Volkswagen.
Is that the listening I want to have? I mean, I'm
The evidence is they're not chomping at the bit to get Jahan there or Jokin. That's the evidence.
some of them are, but yeah.
So that's what you got to work with.
Yeah.
I want to deal with my dark sides. What's showing up? He didn't put the potato peeler away.
Okay.
Yes, John. Ooh.
You know that you muted intentionally?
It's okay. I like watching. I don't have to hear her do anything. Watching
No,
her move is more
I'm
than
still
enough.
filling out the sacrifice list.
Oh yeah, I read one too. It's good.
I really love this exercise.
Yeah.
Here to
What are
share.
the things that they hold so dear to their self-definition? That's the really good stuff.
Hmm. Hmm.
Hi there. 30 minutes. I'll take you out.
You can't pick them up all on the stream.
No, it's a 15-minute ordeal.
And what's the carrot for people that sacrifice their identity or the things they hold dear?
They're not they're not sacrificing the thing, they're sacrificing that they believe that this is something they have to be.
So they're trading rigidity for optionality?
I wouldn't use rigidity, but yeah. It's like it's like who's the corgi rhino?
Michaela.
Michaela. It's like she's put a post out there that there are all these high-powered people that want to give up their high-poweredness so they can be a submissive. You're you're not turning into a submissive in your whole life. You're going to have that experience. And so if you can put down this thing that so defines who you are and have a different kind of experience and can tack it down, so it's not just, you know, temple dance.
Hmm.
You know, that's why tying people to a bed and torturing them, getting them to where they're really thrashing, that's an experience that very few people have.
I would imagine, Josh, that many people probably have the experience that they lie a lot, if they think about it. Not like necessarily telling lies, but they're not who they could be. And where there at least is some sense that they might want to be a different version of themselves.
No, that they are a different version.
Than what they present.
Yes, this is
Yeah,
Jochen speaking about himself.
Yeah. And so if you tell people, come to the program, and then you don't have to do that anymore.
No, 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 no. No, that's how they exist in the world. You know, if they go and they become something else, they will have no skill sets, no vocabulary. Hey, this is one of the programs we're setting up. We're setting up how do you be, you know, the opposite of who you are. We think that by doing this in a container, that this will open you up to being, do you know Theory U, John?
No.
It's a really thick book. It's a business book, business model to whereby diversity is a good thing to have in your large company.
Theory of you.
Theory U.
Oh.
So if you're a reader, go on Wikipedia and figure it out, because this is something that you could use. Speak to the business types in the language that they understand.
Yeah.
You know, this is sort of like, you know, this is sort of like Theory U. We're trying to bring more and more different experiences into your reality so that you can make better choices.
I think it's the option of being able to show up differently than the way that you tend to show up every day.
That you're
In a way
conditioned to
that-
show up. Yeah.
Yeah, it increases your availability of what you can do as a human being.
Okay. Okay, this is for Jahan, everybody. None of you talking heads answer this one. Why do people not want that?
Because they're comfortable in the way that they are right now, and they're scared of what they actually want.
Good.
So how are we gonna pre-handle that objection?
What?
Well, I assume that was
You're
the
gonna
question,
get
like how to
you're
handle
gonna
that.
get them to fill out some sort of paperwork about what their public face is and what their private face is, and we're doing this because we want to see what the 20 people that we're gonna have at this experience, we're gonna see what kind of overlaps and how we're gonna pair you up. To do a bunch of dyadic work, la 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 la.
I also think just most resistance is going to be fear-based.
All resistance is fear-based. To me, it's like you have that idea here, and I say it's all fear-based, and you go, wait a minute, and you start going,
Yeah.
shit,
Is it all?
shit, fuck, son of a bitch, he's right, fucker.
I really tried poking holes in that.
Yep. I liked how you got deeper. Like you didn't do a bunch of superficial You said, okay, if I can't do it at this level, let me drop down a little bit. You didn't go all the way down, but
Hmm.
Craig, how do you track that?
I
Or
tell
be-
myself good stories.
So you just fabricated that story and it happens to align with Jahan's reality?
I said that, and then if you were watching her, you could see her go chick, 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 chick.
Because at
So
a
you could see
superficial level, you can argue that not all resistance is fear-based.
Uh-huh.
Like, I resist accepting X job offer instead of Y job offer because it doesn't pay enough. Okay, sure. The resistance to that particular avenue is not fear-based.
yes,
if
it
you go
is
down
because
to
you
the root,
believe
that it's not enough.
yes, that's fear-based.
Right. And so I was getting there, but on a deeper level, there is some belief that whatever the other thing is isn't going to be enough for you. And the fear of the not enoughness is actually what's driving the resistance to that particular outcome. Because at the end of the day, how much choice do we really have?
But at least out of curiosity, Cray, if someone puts a gun to my head and
Yep.
tells me, okay, here's a knife, stab this other person, and I say, no, I'm not going to do that. Is that fear-based?
I don't know what it is. You could be fearful of the person who you would be if you stabbed somebody. Who cares if you're stabbing somebody?
But you're scared of what that's going to feel like and what the outcome is. So it is fear-based. You're scared of the outcome.
It
What
could
is
be.
the outcome that you're so afraid of, John?
Of stabbing someone or just in
You
my
know what I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about.
Yes,
And
and what is
I know it always it's the first chakra. It's security and stability for me. It
no,
always
it's
has
not.
been. It is.
No, that
What do you
is
think it
that
is?
is that is that is the lie that you're telling yourself to make it excusable.
Hmm.
From over here, it's because it would feel so goddamn good.
Hmm. My God, this is not the only reflection of someone telling me that I am scared of it being too good. That's popped up this week.
You're afraid of I'm being that good and that I will enjoy it that much. Dancing at that depth, interacting with people at that depth. I am afraid of that. I was taught to be afraid of my bigness. Because I tried some things. I followed my own chain of logic when I was a little girl. And I went XYZ PDQ and I got the shit beat out of me. You're not supposed to do that. It's not about whether it's logical or not. It's not about whether it makes sense or not. It's whether it's according to the rules. Imagine going into that house there and being the pirate. Of saying, you guys have paid me for 2 weeks. The money's in the bank. All right. Prepare to be boarded. You all have your avocado. And no, I don't want to hear about your boundaries or anything. You better be quick with those avocados because here we go. Imagine what that would feel like. Yeah, that.
Yeah, if I could really do anything, there's a little bit of like fear of fucking everyone up.
Oh man.
Like
They're
on one
buying in. They've all signed the paperwork.
but there's like an excitement there too that's like, I wonder how much I could fuck up.
Yeah, who
And like
cares?
shake the ship. in a way that's like,
You want the ship to drown. You want to blow a hole in it. You want these people's ways of being to not be good enough for them anymore.
yeah, and I want to know what techniques people are using to try and stay alive.
No, not stay alive. Stay alive, seriously. You breathe, you piss, you shit, you eat. That's how you stay alive. See, now you're saying something and you're bouncing up to, I can't even feel the pulse in that. That's so shallow. I think what you're saying is, how do people stay in meaningful relationships if they're doing these kinds of dances? Because for you, being alive is being in a relationship. Hello.
Yeah, I have connection in big bold letters on my paper already.
Oh, connection. Yeah.
It's like the
Connection, like with the light, how you plug things in, that kind of connection. Yeah. Mm.
no, it's like it's one of those things that people are also really scared of.
Huh. What'd you say, Josh? I didn't hear that last one.
I didn't say anything unless you read something on my body, in which case I have to.
No, she was talking as if she's channeling you.
Oh.
Hmm.
Wait, do you have this? It's unrelated. At some point, I want to ask you about healthy models and relationshiping. It seems like it was a live thread, but
It's like saying what's average. It depends on the monoculture that you're in. If you tried to use my models for relationshiping amongst the Amish, they would all die.
yeah, well, I mean, so like, I don't know if like a pirate experience is experience I would want to welcome into the home or be complicit in being responsible for, like with Jahan. And so like, there's probably some like healthy forms of like relating that I would want to agree upon before we're like, yeah, infect us and tile us with whatever you think is.
What's the worst thing that's going to happen?
Mostly that like reputation is eroded if we have very different ideas of what.
Oh, gee whiz, the KKK is not going to like you anymore. God damn it. Jesus Christ. Oh no, the Catholics will think bad of us. Oh
like,
no.
Cost, I mean, that otherwise be spent in other ways that people will take me less on my word for, or the best case is that they significantly like have a breakthrough personal lived experience of the value and juice of this work.
Alton,
Can I ask a question, actually?
shut up, John.
I'm going to.
You're fucking asking permission. Jesus Christ.
Alton, do you think
Horrible.
do you think I'm a good reflection of you? Generally, like people knowing that we're associated.
So it's not a reflection of, you reflect well upon me in intros. Yes, and the work that you do, I endorse. Yes. When I hear Cray inserting like, how about you just like say, ha, I've got your money, now I'm gonna board you and prepare to be like pirated. I'm like, well, I'm a little cautious about like.
I also tend not to do what Cray or not. I don't take all of Cray's advice either. So do you trust my judgment?
Yeah.
Make sure you put all of your teeth out there, John. God.
I wanted to celebrate his.
Alton, hold on a second.
Yeah.
Do you think I am Do you think that Jahan is being appreciated because of her words? Wouldn't you want to have people responding to you the way that they respond to her?
Oh, Sean, neither. I would want
That
to
you
have.
could put your words down.
Yes.
Yes, exactly.
That would. Where we at?
So, Jahan, you have permission now. You have permission to tell Alton no more words for the next 20 minutes and then dance with him however you want. He has given you permission that in the right time, remember, again, don't do it when he's at his board meeting. But in the right context, he's giving you permission to shut him up, to shut down his words.
Yeah, I think I had that before. I feel difference.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, my interest was an on-ramp to have other housemates be a threshold, like, yes, to be chomping at the bit for having Jahan here.
Figure out small games to play. Have it be about a weekend. Figure out whatever it is she specializes in, have it be about a weekend. Have it be, she's going to lead a weekend. This is what it's going to be about. These are where we hope to go. These are the dangers. Make sure you point out the dangers. That's a good selling point. Now I will show up and lead a workshop. Not that hard.
You should have it be about something bigger and or smaller, is what I got from that. I could parse both ways. That's okay.
You already have all of that info, Alton. That's not new. Why are you surprised? Why are you acting surprised?
Okay, so wait, hold that. Be declarative. Be a pirate, John, just as a practice.
Okay.
Take your sword out, put it up against his throat, and prick his skin with the tip of your sword. He just shit all over you. He shit all over your school. He shit all over you.
I don't think it's and I don't think it's about me. I think it's about what didn't
Fine,
you know
fine.
already that Cray
Put
just
your sword up against his throat and demand an answer.
I don't have to.
No, you don't. I don't have
This
to.
this style works just as well, I've noticed with Alton.
Oh, really? So yeah,
Yeah.
good. You're gonna do Alton's bit now. You're gonna speak to his smallness. Great.
Well, let's see. I want to give you a chance to answer, Alton, and then we'll
Okay, what happens to be a surprise?
what didn't you already know?
I don't think I parsed it both as I could do a smaller version and say, hey, I
Alton. Not one fucking thing, you stupid bitch.
What?
That is the correct answer.
What?
I don't think anything that Cray just said was new. So I don't know why it's like oh.
The part that occurred to me as new to Alton was the idea of having a shorter time period with more intensity.
Great. Now where the other ballless
We
wonder
tried that already.
stepping up to support the other ballless wonder. Here, let me explain to you, old fiery feminine, why he did what he did.
I feel very dumb right now. My intention was to
You
have
should.
it point to some North Star while also parsing it into some like bite-sized bit that would be an easier yes to. Right now, the
Make
default
her smile, Alton, with your reply. Alton, what didn't you understand about what we already did? Come up with a reply that makes her smile and makes her belly twitch. Yeah, like that.
Well, but you know that I'm a stupid idiot, so please, you have to give it to me again.
Whine, that's whining, that's not gonna make her smile. What's gonna make her smile? Alton, she's playing small. Don't give her back smallness, give her some back big.
Okay, I am finally tracking this frame. Excellent. Your frame was like a 12 out of 10 for me. I mean, I'm like, what?
So Alton, try saying, I'm afraid you're gonna burn down my house.
I'm afraid you're gonna burn down my house. And
Stop there, stop. Now, see if you can, I believe that you can tap into this, Alton. That you can look at what the fire she is as a feminine, and you look around you, and you're fairly certain that if she brings 80% of who she is to a weekend workshop, that your house is going to burn down. Now, can you be in your body with that? Can you tell her that and be in your body, not just having it come out the teleprompter? You have real concerns as the captain of the ship that if she cuts loose, she's going to burn down the house.
okay, yeah.
Does that feel true?
It's an acting class.
Yeah, if I put all my chips behind you and then you come here and people are burned by it, they will. There's a world where I won't come back from that.
Can I mess with you, Alton?
Now I'm thinking about it. I don't know if that's true now that I said it out loud. I'm like, well,
Can I mess with you, Alton?
but I don't know if I can't come back from that. Sure.
Can I mess with you, Alton?
Well, I mean, you already have, and yes, I'm looking with you.
Okay, so this is what I hear you say. As much, Jahan, as I would love it if it was just you and I left after this house burned down, I don't think I could do it. The flame that you represent to me will cost me everything. And I'm not willing to do that. See the smile, Alton?
Yeah.
If I don't have impact, there's no reason for me to be there.
There's no way you're not going to have impact. And all you have to
If
do
you
is
want
look at
everything, if you want everything to stay the same, I would not invite me. That is, yeah, that would be a wrong call.
Yep. So now you, Jahan, get to say, I'm specialized in changes in these different areas. I don't do cars, I don't do artichokes, but in terms of this, or this, I can work with that. And it will mean changing everything up. If you want your house to stay status quo, don't call me. And that's okay. There's nothing the matter with the house staying the way it is. And you might be interested, Jahan, in working with those two, maybe Jochen, about how do I present this, what I have, in such a way that the house doesn't burn down, and yet there is something that all four of us can say that was worth it. You want to figure out what it is, what the minimum you need to do to get the goals that you want to have, and just a little bit more. Don't use a sledgehammer on an ant. You okay? You okay?
I already have an idea of what I want to bring as a baseline, and we've talked about it. And I feel really good about what
I
that
don't care
was.
how you feel.
I know it's good.
I don't care if you know. You're a kindergartner. Why do I care what a kindergartner knows?
Wait, that we just.
Why is she smiling, Alton?
Enjoying being humbled.
No. She enjoys having somebody point out where she's not being what she could be in terms of language, or somebody that's fighting her public face harder than she does. And she's not taking it personally. She's feeling it very personally. So, Josh, when you rewatch this, watch how she moves and I move, and then watch how you don't move.
I know how I don't move.
Yeah, I know, but for somebody who's up there in their underwear, okay, they want to see that they're having an impact on you.
I didn't have it that I was the focal point of this dance.
It doesn't matter. She sees you. In the audience, there's one person who's sitting there very, very still. Who's not saying anything.
And you don't approve of that dance move?
I don't, it's not going to get you what you want, I think.
What do I want?
You want to taste her.
I have tasted her.
You want to taste what she is willing to offer you.
I believe I have tasted what she's willing to offer me.
John, on a scale of 1 to 10, in your opinion, this is one of those times with you got to put the sword up to his throat. All right. On a scale of 1 to 10, in your understanding, how much has he tasted of you, or how deeply has he tasted of you? There you go. That was your answer.
1.5?
What?
Maybe
So,
No, Josh, don't do it. Don't do it. Just go,
okay.
wow, that is a very different orientation.
That is a very different orientation.
Yep. So now get curious. What the hell is going on?
I'm curious as to how you came up with that number.
No. What does it mean? You're like, we did this, and this. In my world, that's an 8. That should go, you should go, holy shit. In her world, that's a 1.5. I have got treasures to yet experience that is going to blow my mind. Now, if I go in there and attack her, or put her in something and start cross-examining her, is that going to get me where I want to go? No. How did that feel, John? What's your meaning making about saying 1.5 or whatever you said?
I think I know on an elemental level, at least where Josh is right now, that he's not worthy of more than that. So I just haven't given it to him.
Right, but how did it feel to tell him that and then to say this? So what you're doing is you're taking that, Josh, take a breath. Take a breath, Josh. Right, get back in your.
That was an in, this is an out.
Okay.
I am responding.
So, Jahan, what you did right there was de-pantsed him and pointed out that he doesn't have balls or a penis. That's the landing in the adolescent masculine. He thinks it's a high number. You think it's a low number. And then you say, I only gave him that because that's all I thought he was capable of handling. And he's going to have whatever he has about that. That's not important. What's important is what is happening in Jahan.
I feel it's like somewhat a little bit of like
Not the small stuff. Stay away from the small stuff.
No, I feel some sort of detachment from it, to be honest.
That's not a feeling. That's a causal attribute. You look like you're feeling very powerful, that you feel very self-satisfied, that you're like happy. You're like, my head didn't explode. And how it feels to tell my truth in the face of a masculine feeling pain, I'm really okay with that.
Yeah,
you look
but
like you.
is that really a feeling? I don't necessarily feel powerful in this moment. I just feel
Pretend
like
you
this is
do.
the world that I'm living in as the person I'm living in. It's just like
Pretend. Look at Josh. You made that happen. You flogged him. He agreed to it. He felt a tremendous amount of pain. Just shut up, Josh. All right? Be okay with that.
Hmm.
And you do not, if he wants to engage with you, you can tell him, I will engage with you about this. I'm not engaging with your child about this. If you want to talk to me as an adult about this, I'm happy. But that you want to justify or analyze, or whatever, however you make it that that's his kid doing it, you're like, not doing that.
Hmm.
It's my opinion. That's all it is. It's my opinion that it was a 1.5. If I was Josh, I would be thrilled out of my gourd.
Why? Like
Because
if somebody says I have more to offer, I'm not going to offer it to you. What's the point?
I can change. You look like you really enjoyed that 1.5. Imagine what happened if you got up into 7 and 8s.
That 1.5 is incredibly disruptive.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, we want to sail the safe seas. Yep, we want it predictable. We don't want any feelings of aliveness. We want to, drink our soma. We want it all to be predictable.
I think
I
he
mean, that's
just
not what he's
proved my point.
Yeah. Oh,
What didn't I
wow.
handle, Jahan? What didn't I
No,
handle?
No. See, no. Jahan, don't bite. Don't bite. Okay, that's his kid.
Mhm.
So just be with it. Now, with that proves my point. You took a knife and you stuck it in him. That proves my point. You didn't have to say that. You know that he's going to hear that and it's going to land badly. And you're setting yourself up on this pedestal right now.
Pray you put her on that pedestal.
I can't put anybody on a pedestal. I can
Bullshit.
talk about it. I can talk about it. So now she could have said something like, yeah, 1.5. I would really be interested to seeing if we could come up with a way to get this into the 5s or 6s, whether she wants to or not. It's the flavor of the dance. It's not about the data. You can get AI to tell you anything. You're looking for the flavor of the dance, not the information content. That it was disruptive to you, and and again, you don't know. She could be lying out. She could be gaslighting you to no end. Well, who knows? But that she says it's a 1.5, I would be like, holy shit! Maybe my head really will explode. That'll be fun. I would be so curious about what made it a 1.5 for her.
Josh, what number did you think it would be?
I don't understand fully the definition of taste. We may have different definitions, but we were talking about impact. And so the degree to which you impacted me in my world was somewhere between like on the low end a 6 and the high end a 9. Like I experienced profound impact in connection with you that I very much opened to. And it led to major changes in my life and the way that I relate, especially toward my body and my relationship with myself.
Imagine if you could relate to her on what she thinks is an 8 or a 9, Josh. Imagine what would happen. You're not in a competition to get the highest number. You're looking at the thing that's going to help you get to where you want to go. And if she has that effect on you, that's a hell of a great dance partner.
I am aware.
Yeah. So he's fallen for you too, John, just to be clear. Terrified, but you're now an object in his relational realm. The Muggle, Jahan, the Muggles are going to interpret your dance according to their monoculture.
Hmm.
They're going to fall in love with you. They're going to fall in lust with you. They're going to make you the good mommy, the bad mommy, whatever it is. That's what you walk into these dances with. They are Muggles until proven otherwise. But you don't have some way of testing whether they're good at shallow, medium, or deep, and you just drag them down to the deep. It's going to get nasty. Because you're not going to interact with them the way that their culture says you should be interacting with them. You're going to say, what does intimacy have to do with there's no causal link for intimacy. It's a dance. And they're going to go, no, if you're this intimate with somebody, you need to get married and have kids and get a BMW and whatever it is.
Yeah.
Where are you on the planet, John? You don't know where you are?
No, I know where I am. I'm continuing to realize how much impact I have on people. And sometimes it's there's a part of me that feels bad. but also feels
Aw.
powerful in the way that you were talking about it earlier. But right now, I'm feeling like slightly uncomfortably bad about it.
Yeah, if you stepped out of the room right now and went into the kitchen and there was Josh, you're gonna have a kerfunkle that you're gonna have to deal with. Given the way his head is tilted, you know, given the way that his body is still, you know. And so how are you gonna dance with that?
I did come with a warning label. I did put it out there.
Yeah, have you ever done, I was in the military, did lots of medicine, and people do not read informed consents, okay? They sign them all the time. Your warning label means nothing, but at least you have one. Functionally, it means nothing, but you can always point to it.
I think that's what I'm doing right now.
As a way of excusing yourself.
Yeah.
Stop it. How you doing, Alton?
Shooting on a lot, particularly like a ramped off ramp for people in the house who are like not good culture fits or in my life. And
Yep.
I mean, clearly I don't want to like cut Sophia out entirely, but like how to dance with that part.
Why not?
Cutting people out entirely seems like not the pro-social move. Like
I understand that. And if you're gonna say, oh, if I act like that, that's gonna have a lot of people think I'm an asshole and I don't want them thinking me to be an asshole, well then fine, that makes good sense to me.
I like karmically it also doesn't set a precedent that I endorse. And,
Karma doesn't exist. Stop it.
okay, like the karma shorthand for like what precedent do I want to set in the community that I participate in?
Yep. What do you want to model?
Right. So
Yep.
you know, it's worth giving someone some chances. I make up. I mean, probably we're just some people are often very triggered, and I'm like, okay, I'll how much time do I give them to like come around to something? Or it's already a very condescending model, so I'm like, well, there's something to look at for me. All right.
What would Jahan do? If she was in pirate mode, she would be like, let me help you pack. It's not working for you. You don't have a clear way out of this. Why make yourself be in pain? We
Well, yeah, I
women
think
do this all the time.
an enduring pattern that she enjoys at some level. Of course, otherwise it wouldn't be happening. And so I'm like, well, okay. But
No, it's predictable. She doesn't have to be enjoying it. It's predictable.
that's a good distinction. Yeah, and then all this comes on the background, of course, is very entangled with like house stuff where it's like, well, I tolerate medium level of enrollment or interests, and then that just leads to culture
Yep.
rot. And the culture rot metastasizes in ways that like we were seeing at the beginning of the call.
That's why you don't let the kindergartners dance with the high schoolers.
It's such a black and white frame. I'm having again that I
What
can
else? What else do you want to do?
Have the dynamic range to evoke whichever gear out of every interaction. And
If they don't have the vocabulary, if they don't have the dance moves, if they don't have the skill sets, it's potentially there.
Yeah, I mean, I have it. All we need really is like willingness and maybe some capacity.
Nope. Nope. You need an educational model.
Okay,
What's the vocabulary that
like in this case, Sophia did have the model, but just needs to get in the practice and the reps or something. That's I think loosely what you said.
If she had a tantra model, she could come in and do that. If she had a Bitcoin model, she could do that.
Okay.
If she had a psychological model, she could come in and say, hey, this is what we do.
All right. Well, yeah. Yeah. And there's all on top of all this, I'm like, how is it also? How do you use your sickness state How do you use feeling sick to like bootstrap you through more reps or like work in the world, or how do you orient towards
What?
being? How do you orient?
I'm
towards
feeling like shit. I have a commitment for you to be here. I gave myself the out that if I got too far, I was going to bail. And so I'm here. I'm approaching bailout point.
Yeah,
I
I just
may
also
have
want to name 15 minutes
overestimated.
over the time. So I mean,
I know that.
I'm enjoying it. Okay, and I'm like, okay, great.
And I have been known to overreach many times.
Okay,
Well,
this is not a cannonball type of situation.
nope. Could be. You don't have the right.
I'm just checking it right now. Are there any other like takeaways or like things that we could? Okay, I was sharing about how I would have more nuanced versions or off ramps, so there's clear exit strategies for people, and just not tolerate people who were like lukewarm or like all playing both sides of the fence. I'm like, oh my god, it's just so much bandwidth. I
So
want.
when you off ramp them, you need to make it understandable to them. You need to be able to point out to XYZ PDQ, the very simplest thing, you didn't live up to the contract.
Mhm.
But in order for you to do that, you have to have a contract out there beforehand.
Yeah, I mean, we literally have an agreement that says like we'll take on personal development work, and this is the amount of time you like meditate regularly, and like these are the things that you invest yourself in. And I'm like, huh, these don't.
Then you either you look at nobody's doing these things, so you either say that's a stupid thing to put in the contract, or you say if you don't, guys have one day, or else you're all out.
Well, and that's what I was saying. Like, I don't know. Then maybe we just have too high of a standard, or empty house, or something, or
I don't know.
maybe that leads to the biggest breakthrough because now people are actually willing to take the standard seriously. Okay.
Until
Yeah.
then,
No, I think that it's clearly it doesn't work otherwise. So thanks.
all right. Can I go?
Any last frames for Craig here? I mean, that's pretty clear on my side here. Okay,
I can go?
you can go, Craig.
Thanks,
Yay.
Gray.
My
Bye.
pleasure.
The world. It's very clear when he puts it that way. I'm like, oh, okay, I guess.
That was delightful.
Glad you stuck around, Johan, and I feel good about the next steps around just showing up more that way and constituting myself in the context or container of the home. Yeah, I heard someone ask yesterday, like, so is like community time optional, or like what happens? I'm like, oh my god, no, that's not. No, that's further from what I want to do.
I was just gonna say, are we still on live right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
And
What would you do or say if we weren't on live?
You should be able to see there's a live button and there's also a reporting which is separate. Or at
Oh,
least
I see it, yeah.
I think on mobile may be different, but I think you're on this.
And in case you guys want to have like a bit more internal discussion, I think I'm gonna drop off. But as always, gratitude for being able to just hang out.
Glad to have you. Your expressions support and granting me more in this body. And I enjoy your research.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Yeah, I'll take it off live is what I'm gonna attune to and infer from your frames.